Hi everyone, and welcome to this video tutorial. In this clip, we're going to be completing Lab13 Task 5, which is essentially inflating a VMDK file or turning it from thin into thick provisioned. This is not something we have to do very often, but it is nice to know that we can if we need to. So to start off with, we're going to go and find the VM that we're going to be using. That's going to be the -3 VM. The way the lab has you doing this is we're going to select on hosts and clusters. We're going to pick the specific host that we're interested in, and then in the related objects tab, if you haven't selected that, you'll have to do that, and then we'll see our VMs. So basically, this guy here is the VM that we're interested in. The reason that we're picking this particular view is simply so that we can see the different methods that we have available of selecting the different VMs. So once I've got this guy selected, I can very easily click on that in order to find that and bring up the tabs that are related to that particular VM. Since we want to inflate a VMDK file, that means we have to find it in the storage. Easy way to do that is if whatever the hard disk is that we want to expand, make sure you've selected the reveal triangle here to the left so you can see the details, and from that we'll see that we've got the data store that is going to contain that particular VMDK file. If I just click on that data store, it's going to bring up the data store itself from a details perspective. We'll be able to see the VMs that are housed on that data store due to the folder being present. If I select on the appropriate folder, we're going to see all the files that make up the virtual machine. Here is the VMDK file that we're interested in. Notice right now that this is about 1.2 gigabytes in size. If we inflate that out to full size, it'll be 2 when it's finished. Just right click and specify inflate. And that will go off and do its thing. A couple of things to be of note. You can inflate a VMDK file, but not while the VM is powered on. So you're going to have to make sure that you've powered off your VM. That is in your book. I didn't have to do that. I powered mine down ahead of time just to make it a little bit quicker on the video. The other thing to note is there's no corresponding deflate. You'll notice when I did the right click, there was only an inflate. There was no grayed out deflate or something like that. And the reason for that is that the only way that we have to deflate, or in other words, go from thick to thin provision, is by migrating from one data store to another and then changing the type of disk on the fly when we do that migration. That is, again, certainly something you can do. If you thick provision a VM by mistake and you've already got it installed, you don't want to have to go through that process again. You can absolutely do the migration. Having said that, be aware that when you do that migration, you're going to put a fairly high load on your storage array, so you're going to want to set that up for off-peak time. Okay, our task is finished. The inflation's done. I'm just going to do a quick refresh here, and what we should see is the size is going to change from around 1.2 gigabytes to basically 2 gigabytes in size. So that's all there is to that. That's a wrap for this particular task. Hopefully this was helpful for you, and we'll see you next time.